Hey, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to do something a little different. This is I guess a water well. I'm always trying to find different things to paint, and I found this and I thought, well, this would be a good one. If you've never painted one, don't worry about it. I haven't either. But we're going to do it together today. So if you're ready to get started, let's go. All right. I hate to jump ahead of you here, but I had a heck of a time with this background. I've changed it 2 or 3 times. I think I'm going to stick with this. I mean, it is what it is. We just got some trees right here, and this is going to be grass back in here, and I'll have to do more with this stuff later when this is just a little too wet right now. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put my grass in. Yeah, I hate to jump ahead, but I started working on this while I was filming a minute ago, and I just couldn't figure it out. This is my last painting of the day. My brain's tired, I think, and I think we're just going to stick with this. I'm just putting some yellow down, and then I'm going to come back, I'm going to put all my colors down, come back, take my 1-inch brush, scrub it all in. But this is wet here, this is not here. Scrub it all in. And then we'll get started. My focus today, or right now, is just to get some color down on the canvas. And hopefully that'll do it. I'm going to take some ochre, throw it in. Of course, these trees are going to have some big shadows, obviously. But man, I had a heck of a time a while ago. Could not figure out what to do. That happens when you start getting a little tired. I do 2 or 3 paintings. This is my day off. I do 2 or 3 paintings a day. I mean on my day off, not a day. On my day off. But I do typically have at least 2 paintings going at the same time. And the reason is, just like this, I gotta let that dry a little bit. While that's drying, I can work on another one. We're gonna put some, I'm gonna have some flowers and stuff right in here. So that might cover up a lot of this area right in here. And we won't even have to worry about that. Not that we're worried about it, but if we were, you wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, I don't know. I may put, this is where the flowers are going to start. I think they're going to go up, or I may have them sticking up out of the corner of the painting. We'll go ahead and put some grass down. So sure as I don't, I'll change my mind and wished I'd put grass down. I'm going to start getting into a little Prussian blue as we get closer to the bottom. Darken it up. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take a break, take a coffee break. Now I'm gonna get my 1-inch brush and see what I can do here. Let me get a clean one. I'm gonna set my palette down. I'm gonna start here. And I don't care if I get it on this right here as well. But I do care if I get it in this wet brown paint. I don't want to do that yet. I gotta be real careful around these trees. I'll go over this again with the fan brush here after a while and put some good texture in it. This is just a base. Just a base, not the final product. Just to get color on the canvas is all this is. And before I come down in this blue, I want to get this green. See, it's dry down here. I got to scrub it a little harder. And I actually have a piece of lumber that's supposed to be there. You can't really see it now at this point. Going across here, that's where my flowers are going to be, so I don't need to get up in that line right there. I'm just putting the color on the canvas right now is all I'm doing. The closer you get, the darker things should be. And this is why we're doing it this way. Just go ahead and get the bottom. Now we can start over here. And like I said, it's okay for this to get on. This is acrylic paint. I'll just wipe it off. Wipe off this oil paint if I need to. There. And there's a board going to be right there. That looks a little better. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of oil all over this well or do my trees, one or the other. Okay, what I'm doing now is I've just put some lines up here. This process here is kind of slow and methodical, so I didn't want to bore you to death. I got a picture I'm looking at. It's right here above my head. I'm just going over this whole well because I got a lot of other kind of paint mixed in. You know, as you can see, grass collars and whatnot. Because if I don't, I might lose my lines. And that wouldn't be good, would it? I spent time drawing this out and I don't want to lose my lines. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. Another slow process. I think this well will look pretty good once it's done. I believe this is black. Right up this side right here. Yeah, if I don't hit this now, man, I'll lose them lines. I'll never be able to find them. I'll have to do it all over again. Who wants to do something twice when you don't really have to? But I'm going to do more with this area, but I don't like that at all. I'm going to do some more with that later. And that's why, like I said before, I let my paintings sit around for a day or two for that very reason. Because it's so wet sometimes you just can't do anything with it. I mean, you're fighting a losing battle, really. And you're not really getting anywhere. You're basically wasting time. I hope my head's not in your way. But this is going to be stone down in here. Hopefully that looks good. But this is all I just want to show you what I'm doing here. Certainly ain't gonna make you watch the whole thing here. But this is it. This is all I'm doing. Just going around putting a coat of paint over this whole thing right here. I'll probably bring you back when I start doing the stones. I'll go ahead and finish this because this is kind of boring. And then we'll do that right there. All right. I got most of this done right here. Let's start. I just want to put some color down on these stones. Since this is acrylic paint. And this is how I do it. Other people might do it different. I don't know. I really don't. But I'm going to scoop my canvas out a little bit. See, I've already got a little lighter right here because I want the sun to come down this way. I mean, you can tell it's dark on that side of that timber. I want the sun to be coming down this way. So I'm going to get a little brown, little ochre, throw in a little bit of white. And all I'm going to do is go around, because I got to shape these stones out. I got to shape them. And I'm just going to put hit and miss, just put stones here and there. Basically, just randomly. I don't want them the same. I want them all mixed up, all different. I want them to look natural as we can. But I'm starting here in the light area before I get my brush all messed up. And this is pretty much what I do. I mean, it takes a while to do it, but as long as it looks good, that's really what counts. The final outcome is what counts. Yeah, just randomly put things in. And of course, as I go away from the light, it's going to be getting, you can tell it's going to be getting darker over here. It just takes a while to do. I mean, it's no big deal. Little light. And I'm going to throw in a dark one here and there. Oh, how about... It'll be some kind of a different stone. That's what we're going to say. It's a different stone. Different type. Let's throw one here. Remember, we got to take a liner and go around each and every one of these little stones also. But you just want them different. You don't want them the same. Try your best to make them look a little different. Different placements. So now those two look too identical right there. I don't like that. Make one of them a little darker. I'm going to stay away from this edge for the moment. Alright, looks okay. Let's see, I probably should make some gray and get some gray stones in here. Just something different, just random stuff. I don't want this water well right here actually looks too new for me. I like them a little rougher looking, and I can make it that way. I like rustic things. The more rustic the better. I wonder what some Prussian blue would look like. Let's put it over. It don't look bad. I mean, it's different. It's a little different. See, it can be a little darker on this side. Let's mix a little brown and red and see what happens. This is Alizarin crimson. Alright, looks fine. Throw in a red one here and there. Just be random. Just here and there. Anyways, this is what I'm going to do right now, and then I'm going to get the top. And then we'll work on something else. Let's go ahead and get ready to put our grass in. I went ahead and worked on the roof a little bit. I want a colorful painting today. So I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to do this grass first because I'm going to get it on stuff. I'm going to get it on the trees and this, that, and the other. Not on purpose, but it's just going to happen. If you can imagine. I like to use a fan brush on my grass rather than a 1-inch brush. I like the way it looks. I think it's got a pretty good texture to it. When you put it on like this. See, there's an area right there it's going to get on my stuff. Tree and my well house, wishing well, whatever you want to call it, water well. And let's start up in here. I'm pushing up on my brush as I'm coming down to give it the texture, because this ain't that far back. Usually I would do it more in the foreground, but this isn't that far back in the picture. So it's okay to do it. I'm not doing it a lot, but I am pushing up on the brush a little. We're going to get right in here. This fan brush I got, boy, I have wore it almost out. These bristles are sticking out every direction. I might have to go shopping for... I wear my brushes out quick. Put some right here on this edge. Now we're going to switch to some ochre. As your painting comes down, you want it to be darker, so it'll show distance. And I'll throw a little bit up in here too to blend it a little bit, make it look more natural. Got some blue on there somewhere. Got it on my brush. Oh, I think I hit something on my palette. That's all right. More color. I'll just give it some more color on it. We like nice varied colors. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm gonna put some flowers down here, so I'll bring the grass probably just a little closer, and then stop, because I really don't think it's gonna need it all the way down toward the bottom. Let's grab us a little green. Start with some green now. Throw a little bit here and there. Yeah, I just like the way a fan brush looks on grass. Some people don't. I am not one of them. I like it. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this out right here, and we're gonna come back and probably start on our stones or some of these boards. And we got plenty of work to do. We can do the trees, whatever we want to do. So I'll be back. Let's go ahead and start on our trees. I'm gonna get me some white, mix it with a little brown, a little ochre. And the reason I'm doing that, because this painting's actually been sitting around for a day or two, and I think these trees are almost dry. Usually I would use pure white, because it mixes with the brown. And the sun is going to be coming down this way. Down this way. So we're going to start right here. And these trees are almost dry. I tell you what, I just can't get to my paintings like I like. But you know, at the same time, that's okay sometimes, because they get really, really wet when you start caking on all kinds of paint, man. I mean, they get wet. If you've ever oil painted, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want this. I'm just going to put some varied colors here, and then we're just going to mix them all up. Get some more white. Let's go ahead and do this side. I hope I'm not in your way. I'm twisting my brush as I'm coming down, because I got white all over my brush. And if I twist it, I'm actually using most of it. If I just held it in one spot, just like this, without twisting it, I mean, I'd run out of paint. So I twist it as I come down, and that keeps the paint flowing. A little ochre, a little white. So I'm going to mix all these up here in just a second. I just want to go ahead and run some white down the edges of most of these. Here's one back here, we cannot forget it. Here's one right here that we cannot forget. Take a little ochre, a little white, Same thing with it, just put it on there for now. Now let's get some brown. Brown, little burnt sienna. Probably some more brown. I got some raw umber here. It's more of a dark color. Let's throw it down here on here and there. Here's my palette. I don't have a whole bunch on here tonight. I'm just kind of, I came starting to paint after work here, and I don't want to get a whole bunch of color on my palette because I don't want to waste it. And that's what happens sometimes. You get too much stuff. I'm just quickly throwing these on here for you just to show you how you mix your colors. And hurry up, I'm going to take Prussian blue and run on the back side here in just a second. I'll work on them a little bit more here in a bit. I'm just trying to quickly show you where you don't get too bored. Okay, let me wipe my brush off here. I'll go ahead and run a little Prussian blue down the back side. Show you that. And then I'll finish working on them here in a second. I always tell everybody that I really like Prussian blue on the backside of trees because it's just so dark. I mean, it just fits the tree well. At least in my mind. I think it looks really nice on the back of a tree. Because, you know, I can rub it and smear it out. And it gives it a nice dark shadow. Real nice dark shadow. And it's not black. I mean, it's an actual color. So it makes it even better. I've heard people say never to even use black. I use it. But really, you probably wouldn't have to. I mean, this is pretty dark right here. I've heard people say that. Let's see here. Let's run. Go ahead and smear this out a little bit. I'll have to work on these a little bit more, as I said. I just want to show you how we're going to get these down. I'll go ahead and finish working on these real quick, and we'll come back and do this well. Alright, I finished working on my trees there. I got a flat brush in my hand. I'm going to go ahead, hit these two posts, hit this up in here real quick. And then we're just going to move on. This is a little lighter up in here. These are rafters. You have them in your houses, in case you didn't know that. Some people don't know that. I don't know. I'm going to make this a little lighter down in here. I want the sun dark, dark, light, and light. So I'm going to make this a little bit lighter here. I'm going to try to make it a little bit rough looking. I'm just trying to get a pretty good idea of where I want the light to start. I think I want to start right in there. And now this is just yellow ochre I'm using right here. And probably I want the light to come down like that. I want this a little darker up in here. So I will get me a little brown. Let's see what a little brown, a little burnt sienna. That's pretty dark. I like that sienna color though. It's kind of a reddish brown. Might be kind of hard to see that how I'm putting it on here, but I'll lighten it up here in a second, just a little bit. This painting is almost dried on me. I've let it sit too long. Just can't get to them sometimes. But the good part is it's not a sloppy mess. The grass is, I just did it. And the trees are. But this part here isn't. This is pretty dry. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good right there. Let's start over here. Get rid of my grass that I put on here a minute ago. Okay, let's take some black. I'm going to go ahead and might as well do the sides. I got some shadow right here. Make it look a little neater anyway, get rid of that grass. The grass that I got on there, just can't help it sometimes. I'm going to have me a little bucket hanging here too. I think that'd look cool. Little hanging bucket. We're not done with these stones yet either. I've got to work on the stones a little bit. Still got to do the stones. Make this a little darker right here. Okay, let me give me a different brush here. Let me see if I can roughen this up a little, make this look a little rougher. I'll take a little brown, little ochre. I'll just go ahead and do it. Don't make no difference. Just kind of vary up some colors. As long as it's lighter than that, that's really what I'm after. I'm just trying different stuff here to see what I think might work. So far I'm not liking it. I may have to, let me take a little bit of white. Let me go over it with a little white. I don't like this right now. Yeah, that looks a touch better. If I don't like it, I just wipe it off and do it again. I mean, that's what you should do too. If you don't like it, don't leave it. There's no reason to. Not while it's wet, there's no reason, because you can wipe it off pretty easy. Now let me see about this other area up here. I just want it just to rough it up a little. It's not much to ask, is it? Sometimes I think it can be. I just want it roughed up. This is just brown and a little touch of white. I just don't want it to look that smooth. Man, that's too smooth. I might have to work a little bit more on it here later. It's close. It's close. Let me rough this black up a little bit. I like rustic looking things, but I don't like it when it just looks like you just bought it from the store. Especially something like this. I'll probably have to let that dry a little bit and work on it a little bit more. Okay, we're going to get ready to do some stone work. Okay, I've started working on my stones, and I stopped right here because I want to show you something. What I did is I took some yellow ochre and some white, and I went across the top right of each of these stones. This takes a little time, by the way. The top right, because the sun is coming down this way. And now what I'm doing is I'm getting me a little tiny bit of black and I'm shading the bottom left. Let me do a few of them for you. I hope you can see this. I'm shading the bottom left of each of these stones right here. And I'll probably blend a little bit of it together, as you can see. But this, if the stones were bigger, this would be easier to do, but they're not. I mean, I've done a wall before, and it looks three-dimensional when you do it this way. And this is really the only way you can take something flat, a flat stone, and try to make it three-dimensional. The bright colors go on the upper right, if the sun's coming down this way, so the bottom left corner of the stone will be dark. And I'll just kind of smooth it and blend it a little bit. It makes a difference. I mean, it really does. It takes some time to do, but it does make a little difference. I mean, you want it to look as realistic as you possibly can. And that's really the only way you can do stone. You have to give it the three-dimensional look if you possibly can. And this is pretty much how you do it. There's no other way to do it that I'm aware of. I'm sure there is, but that I'm aware of. Noticed I said that I'm aware of, don't you? But if these stones were bigger, this would be a lot. You could see a real big difference, but they're just so small, and it's okay. It's perfectly fine. It gives it a shadow effect. And I'm just going to keep doing this for a while. Just wanted to show you how to do that and what I was doing. All right, what I'm going to do now, I went ahead and put my bucket in. I got to do more right here. I don't like how that looks, but I got my bucket in. Now I'm going to have, this is all going to be flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start slinging some leaves in here. So this whole thing, I mean, it's going to have a nice leafy area. I'm going to use green. And I probably should have done this before I done this, you know, hindsight. Looking back, yeah. Take some Prussian blue. I want it dark down in here. This is going to have, I want all kinds of different color variation in this. And this is just a good quick way to do it. Just here and there, make sure you get all this white covered up right here. You won't be able to see a lot of this, but this is just for us. I might have to touch these stones again before it's all over with. Touch them up. I'll touch them, then I'll have to touch them up. Touch them by accident and touch them up. I was going to say I do have some ochre. Take a little yellow ochre, throw in here. Little yellow ochre. More green. This is just the backdrops, all this is right here. As I said, you probably won't even be able to see it, most of it, because this is really not what you're going to be paying attention to. You're going to see the flowers. More Prussian blue here at the bottom. Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to let this dry overnight. For one thing, I'm running out of time. But that's a good way to do it sometimes. This is going to dry up overnight. And tomorrow evening, when I get back from work, I'll be ready to put some flowers in here, and we'll just about be ready to call it a finished product. It's a good way to do it, to let it sit and dry sometimes. It helps, because if I put flowers on here now, man, what a mess. I mean, that's all that would be, is a mess. So anyways, I'll let that dry overnight and I'll come back and finish it. Well, I went ahead and I put my version of a flower bed in there. I just want some color. I want to make it look pretty good and just brighten the painting up a little bit. Got me a bucket here, and I think I'm going to have something hanging down right here. This is a well, but apparently it's not used. So I'm just going to have some stuff hanging down right here, some flowers. Just for something cool. Something different. I think that's what it needs. And I think this might be close to all we're going to do with this painting. I'm going to have this hanging down. Hopefully I'll have a part of it hanging in the sunlight and make it shine a little bit. That part right there, let me brighten that up just a little bit. Take some green and some white. A little bit of yellow. I'll brighten this up right here. I'm going to put some flowers on these. It's catching that right there. Let me set this down a minute. Just a few flowers. I don't want it to be crazy looking or anything. Just brighten that up a little bit. It's cad yellow light. Now let me find me some blue. I have a pile of, I have some blue here. It's a real light blue. I can't remember what color it is. I dug it out of, I had just found it. Let's see what it's going to look. Let me just touch it here. That's not too bad. I'm not a so-called flower guy. I don't do a lot of flowers. As you can probably tell, that don't look too bad. But I'm not a flower guy. Flowers are stressful to me. I think they're kind of hard. Let's see, stand back and kind of take a look at it here. See if this is what we're after. Put one there. Put a couple in the sunlight here. I'm just pressing my brush down, is all I'm doing right here. Let me wipe this off. Let me get a little bit of white. Let me just, if I can't touch it on these flowers here. Brush is pretty dirty. Stand back and take a little look. Maybe one more touch. There, get to come off my brush. And let me darken this right here just a touch, right here in this area. It's a little too light right there. Maybe a little right here. Yeah, let me just do a little something here with these. I don't want to leave them completely like this. I'll just barely touch a little white on them. Just to give them a little pop. Make them stand out a little better. Well, looks like that's it. I like it. I like how it turned out. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more future videos. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it.